there is a particular kind of silence isn't there. It's the silence that hangs in the air after you've sent a text you thought was perfect. It's the quiet look in his eyes when he sees you, but doesn't truly see you. It's the feeling of being a ghost in the presence of the one person you want to haunt. You've done everything right. You've been charming, intelligent, beautiful. Maybe you've even been the cool, low-maintenance girl who never asks for too much. You've played the game by all the rules you were taught, only to find yourself on the sidelines watching him remain completely, maddeningly uninterested. That feeling of powerlessness is a slow, quiet poison. And every woman knows the taste of it. But what if I told you that everything you've been doing, all that effort, all that charm, all that perfection is the very reason he doesn't want you? What if the magnetic, irresistible woman you are destined to be is buried underneath the good girl you've been trying so hard to be for him? This isn't about learning new pickup lines or a new way to flirt. This is about understanding the primal, unspoken language of male psychology. It's a language not of words, but of energy, of challenge, and of mystery. It is the secret emotional blueprint that determines who a man craves on a level so deep he himself doesn't understand it. It's the reason he can overlook a woman who is seemingly perfect and become utterly obsessed with one who appears to do nothing at all. Before we move on to this next crucial point, I just want to extend a quick, quiet invitation. If these secrets are resonating with you, make sure you've clicked subscribe. In the next few minutes, I am going to pull back the curtain. You are not going to learn how to chase him. You are going to learn how to create a gravitational pull so powerful. He won't be able to stop himself from orbiting you. Stay with me because we are about to rewrite the rules, and we will start with the most impossible scenario of all. The man who right now feels absolutely nothing for you, the attraction paradox. Why everything you've been taught is wrong, the myth of being the perfect woman. Let's talk about the checklist. You know the one. It's the invisible list of qualities that society, movies, and even our own mothers have told us a man looks for in a woman. Be beautiful, but not intimidating. Be intelligent, but never make him feel inadequate. Be successful, but not so successful that your ambition overshadows his. Be kind, be nurturing, be funny, be understanding. Be the calm in his storm, the cheerleader for his dreams, the effortlessly beautiful partner on his arm. Be a perfect 10, and you, being the smart, capable woman you are, have tried your best to become her. You've spent hours choosing the perfect outfit, one that looks incredible, but also says, oh, this old thing, I just threw it on. You've rehearsed witty and engaging stories in your mind, ensuring you sound fascinating but not self-obsessed. When you're with him, you listen with genuine interest. You ask about his day, you laugh at his jokes, you remember the little details, and you make yourself available, signaling with a warm, open energy that you are interested in, that you are safe. You have presented him with a flawless resume for the role of his ideal partner. And then nothing, or worse, you receive the most devastatingly polite compliment of all. You're such a great girl. You are placed gently and respectfully into the friend zone. Or you become the woman he texts when he's bored, but never the one he obsesses over. You've ticked every single box on the list, only to discover that he wasn't even looking at the list in the first place. Here is the first secret you were never told: men do not fall in love with a resume. They don't logically assess your qualities and conclude that you are a worthy investment. Deep, primal, can't eat, can't sleep attraction is not a decision. It is an uncontrollable emotional reaction. It's a chemical fire that starts in the subconscious, a place where logic holds no power. A man can consciously recognize that you are a wonderful, beautiful, and kind person, a perfect 10, and yet feel absolutely no spark. This isn't your fault. You were simply given the wrong map. You were taught to appeal to his mind, but you were never taught to speak to his soul. You've been trying to win a game of chess when he is, and always has been, playing a completely different game. The paradox is that in your effort to be the perfect woman, you may have accidentally hidden the one thing he was actually looking for, the real one, the one who isn't afraid to be imperfect, the one whose value doesn't come from his approval, the raw, authentic, and slightly untamable woman he can't figure out, but knows he cannot live without. And if that just gave you a little aha moment, do me a favor and gently tap that subscribe button. It ensures you won't miss the ones we're about to have together. Now, on to the next secret. The psychology of the chase, why pursuing him pushes him away. There's a feeling that comes with modern dating that is all too familiar. It's the feeling of your thumbs hovering over the keyboard, wondering if you should be the one to text first again. It's the feeling of being the one who always suggests the plans, who keeps the conversational ball rolling when it starts to slow, who invests 80% of the energy into the interaction, hoping to be met with more than just a polite, low-effort 20% in return. You do it because you've been told to be a modern woman, to go after what you want, to not be afraid to show your interest. But as you do, you notice something strange. The more you lean in, the more he seems to lean back. The more available you are, the less urgently he seems to need you. Your enthusiasm is met with casual, non-committal replies. Your directness seems to make him passive. It's like trying to catch a butterfly. The more you lunge for it, the faster it flutters away. This is not a coincidence. It is a direct reaction rooted in a fundamental principle of male psychology, the principle of investment. Human beings are wired to place a higher value on things they have to work for. The prize that is won after a difficult struggle is always cherished more than the one that is handed over freely. When it comes to the psychology of attraction, this isn't just a small factor, it is the entire foundation upon which a man's desire is built. Think of it like this. Imagine someone hands you a certificate for a prestigious award. It feels nice, but it's just a piece of paper. Now, imagine you spent months of tireless work, overcame obstacles, and competed against others to finally earn that exact same certificate. It is no longer just a piece of paper. It is a symbol of your effort, your struggle, and your victory. You value it because a piece of yourself has been invested into it. When you are the one constantly pursuing him, you are handing him the certificate. You are removing the very process of investment that allows his feelings for you to grow. You are showing him the end of the story before he's even had a chance to become invested in the character. He needs to feel that he is the one solving the puzzle, that he is the one climbing the mountain, that he is the one winning the affection of a high-value woman. This is not a call to play games or to be cold and manipulative. It's far deeper than that. It is about understanding that his desire for you is directly proportional to the amount of his own energy, his time, his effort, his thoughts that he invests in you. So if you can't pursue, if you can't show your interest so directly, what are you supposed to do? The answer is simpler and far more powerful than you think. You don't make him chase you. You simply create a reality so compelling he feels he has no other choice. The silent killer of desire, predictability, there is a certain comfort in reliability. The woman who always answers her phone on the second ring. The woman whose response to his text is always swift and enthusiastic. The woman who is always free on Friday night if he happens to ask at the last minute. In an established, committed relationship, this kind of consistency builds security and trust. But in the fragile, early stages of attraction, it can be a silent and deadly killer of desire. It is the anesthetic that slowly numbs the spark before it ever has a chance to catch fire. To understand why, you have to understand a core driver of the male mind, the instinct to solve, to conquer, to figure things out. From an evolutionary perspective, his brain is designed to focus on challenges and incomplete patterns. It is captivated by novelty and mystery. A puzzle that is already solved, a map that is fully revealed, a story where the ending is obvious. These things no longer command his mental energy. His attention simply moves on to the next unsolved problem. When you become completely predictable to a man, you inadvertently signal to his subconscious that you are a solved puzzle. He knows how you will react. He knows you will always be available. He knows you will always respond with sweetness and accommodation. And while his conscious mind might think, she is so nice and reliable, his subconscious mind thinks, challenge complete, there is nothing left to discover here. That is the moment his mind begins to disengage. The mental real estate you once occupied in his thoughts starts to shrink because he is no longer actively wondering about you. So what is the antidote to this silent killer? It is the cultivation of a subtle, elegant mystery. Let's be very clear, mystery is not about being dishonest. It is not about playing manipulative games or creating fake drama. True magnetic mystery is an authentic byproduct of having a life that is rich, passionate, and uniquely your own, a life that he is not the center of. It's the woman who sometimes lets a call go to voicemail because she is truly absorbed in painting or at the gym or laughing with her friends. It's the woman whose opinions are her own, not a mirror of his. It's the woman who has an inner world so vibrant that she doesn't need him to entertain her. She is not a story that can be read in a single sitting. She has chapters he has not yet earned the right to read. This unpredictability doesn't make her unreliable. It makes her real. It signals to him that she is a whole person, not just a supporting character in his story. And it forces his mind to ask the one question that is the foundation of all obsession. What is she thinking? You've now seen the 3 traps that most women fall into: the trap of perfection, the trap of pursuit, and the trap of predictability. But knowing the traps is only the first step. In the next chapter, we will leave them behind forever. We will begin the journey of not just avoiding what pushes him away, but actively building the magnetic presence that pulls him in irresistibly. And what we're about to cover next is crucial. If you're finding value in this, hitting subscribe now means you'll be the first to know when we go even deeper in the next video. Now, where were we? The foundational shift becoming the magnetic center of your own universe, the gravity principles shifting from chasing to attracting. For most of our lives, we have been taught to think of attraction as a verb, as an action. We are told to go get him, to win him over, to make him notice you. This language positions you as the pursuer, the hunter, the satellite orbiting a planet, spending all of your energy just to stay in his vicinity. You move when he moves. You adjust your trajectory to match his. Your focus is entirely external, fixed on him. But as we've discovered, this very dynamic is what causes his interest to fade. It drains your power and places him in the passive position of being pursued, a role that is subconsciously uncomfortable for him and disempowering for you. So I invite you to release that entire framework. Let it go. Today, we are going to make a profound shift in our understanding of attraction. We're going to stop seeing it as an action you take and start seeing it as an energy you embody. We are moving from the model of the satellite to the model of the planet. Think about the sun. The sun doesn't chase after the planets, begging them to stay in its orbit. It doesn't perform for them. It doesn't text them to make sure they're still interested. The sun simply exists burning brightly, fueled by its own internal fire and its very nature. Its immense gravitational pull is what keeps the planets in a steady, predictable orbit around it. They are drawn to its warmth, its light, and its power. There is no effort. There is no chase. There is only powerful, undeniable attraction. This is what I call the gravity principle. Your task is not to chase him. Your task is to become the sun. It is to cultivate a life, a mindset, and an energy so powerful and so radiant that he and others are naturally drawn into your orbit. This is the ultimate reframe. True attraction is not about what you do to him. It's about what you do for yourself. It's about building a universe within you that is so compelling, so full of light and warmth that he feels a magnetic pull to be near it. This shift changes everything. It takes all the pressure off of you. You no longer have to worry about saying the perfect thing or making the right move. Your only job is to focus on your own light, your own internal fire. It transforms the exhausting act of pursuing into the effortless state of attracting. You stop being the hunter and become the beautiful, captivating landscape that the hunter feels compelled to explore. This isn't a passive role. It is the most powerful one you can possibly take. You are not waiting. You are creating. And in doing so, you become a force of nature he simply cannot ignore. The source of true magnetism, your unfocused joy. Now that we understand the principle, let's talk about the fuel. What is the internal fire that creates this gravitational pull? Is it beauty? Is it success? Is it wit? While those things are wonderful, they are not the core of it. The true source of deep, irresistible magnetism is something much simpler and far more powerful, your unfocused joy. Let's break that down. Joy is a state of genuine contentment, pleasure, and fulfillment. It's the feeling you get when you're lost in a creative project, when you're laughing so hard with a friend that your stomach hurts, when you're hiking a beautiful trail and feel completely present in the moment. When you're dancing in your kitchen while making dinner, it is a high vibration energy that radiates from you when you are deeply engaged with your own life. Now, the most important part of that phrase is the word unfocused. Unfocused joy is happiness that is not directed at him. It is not performed for him. It does not depend on his validation or his presence to exist. It is a joy that is generated from within for your own sake. When a man encounters a woman who is lit up with this kind of joy, it sends a powerful and intoxicating subconscious message. It tells him that she is not looking for a man to complete her or to be her source of happiness. She has already found it within herself. This is profoundly attractive for 2 key reasons. First, it removes all pressure. A man is instinctively wary of becoming a woman's sole source of happiness because it feels like a heavy burden. But a woman who is already happy is not a burden, she is a bonus. Being with her feels like an invitation to share in her wonderful world, not a desperate plea for him to create one for her. Second, and more importantly, it creates an intense sense of mystery and challenge. When he sees you genuinely happy and fulfilled without him, his mind starts to spin. He thinks, what is it about her life that brings her so much joy? What is this secret world she has that I'm not a part of? He becomes deeply curious. He wants to know the source of your light. And more than that, he starts to desire to be a part of it, to contribute to it, and to see if he can make you feel that same joy when you're with him. So your homework is not to figure out how to be more attractive to him. It is to figure out what sets your own soul on fire. Is it art, music, learning a new language, volunteering, starting a small business, rediscovering an old hobby? Whatever it is, go do that. Go fill your own cup until it overflows. Because the radiant glow of a woman who is genuinely in love with her own life is the most magnetic force in the universe. Planting the seed, the mindset of I am the prize, before you can effectively use any technique, before you can apply any psychological principle, there is a fundamental belief system that must be installed deep within your core. Without it, everything you will feel like a performance, an act, and he will sense the insecurity underneath it. This foundational belief is simple to say, but for many of us, it takes practice to truly feel. The belief is this: I am the prize. For so long, we have been conditioned to see the desirable man as the prize to be won. He is the gatekeeper to our happiness, the validator of our worth. We put him on a pedestal and perform for his approval, hoping that we will be chosen. This dynamic immediately puts you in a position of lower value. You are the applicant, and he is the hiring manager. Today, we are flipping that script permanently. To truly embody the mindset of being the prize, you must understand what it means. It does not mean you are arrogant, conceited, or that you look down on others. It is a quiet, powerful, internal knowing. It means that you view your time, your energy, your attention, and your emotional vulnerability as incredibly precious resources. They are not given away freely to anyone who shows a flicker of interest. They are gifts. They must be earned. Imagine you are the curator of a world-class art museum. Your heart is the most valuable painting in the collection. You wouldn't just let anyone come in off the street, touch it, critique it, and decide if it's worthy. You would have standards. You would expect respect. You would only grant access to those who have demonstrated that they understand its value. This is how you must begin to view yourself. A man's interest in you is not a validation of your worth. It is simply an application for access to your world. Your job is to be the calm, discerning gatekeeper of that world. This mindset changes your behavior automatically. You stop worrying if he will text back, and you start asking yourself if his conversation is even worth your time. You stop trying to impress him, and you start observing whether he is trying to impress you. You stop seeing a date as a test you have to pass, and you start seeing it as an interview where you are deciding if he is a worthy investment of your precious energy. Begin to practice this in your mind. Before you interact with any man, take a deep breath and repeat this to yourself. My attention is a gift. My time is valuable. My energy is sacred. He is applying for a position in my life. I am the prize. It will feel unnatural at first, but with repetition, this seed will take root. It will change the way you walk, the way you talk, and the very energy you radiate. And men are exquisitely sensitive to this energy. They can tell the difference between a woman who is hoping to be chosen and a woman who is quietly, confidently doing the choosing. The psychology of the unattainable, creating perceived value, the scarcity principle. Why we crave what we can't easily have. Let's talk about diamonds. A diamond is, at its core, a piece of crystallized carbon. Geologically, it's not nearly as rare as we are led to believe. So why are we willing to spend thousands of dollars on one? The answer is a masterclass in psychology, perceived scarcity. Through brilliant marketing and controlled supply, the diamond industry has convinced us that these stones are incredibly rare and therefore incredibly valuable. Our desire for them is not based on their intrinsic utility, but on the belief that they are difficult to obtain. This is a fundamental law of human nature, known as the scarcity principle. From limited edition sneakers to exclusive club memberships, we are psychologically wired to assign greater value to things that are less available. When something is abundant and easily accessible, we subconsciously take it for granted. When it is scarce, our brain flags it as important. Our fear of missing out kicks in, and our desire to possess it intensifies dramatically. Now, let's apply this powerful, unchangeable law of human nature to the currency of attraction, your time and your attention. When your time and attention are endlessly abundant to a man, when you reply to his texts instantly, always say yes to his invitations, and clear your schedule at a moment's notice, you are inadvertently signaling to his subconscious that your time is not a scarce resource. You become the common stone, not the rare diamond. He may like you, but he feels no urgency. He knows you will always be there. So there is no compelling reason for him to prioritize you or to invest his best effort. Cultivating scarcity is not about being a game player. It is about being a woman with a full and genuinely busy life, the life we talked about in the last chapter. It's about elegantly demonstrating that your time is a precious commodity because you have filled it with things that bring you joy and fulfillment. So how does this look in practice? It means you don't answer a text message the second it comes in, not because you're counting down the minutes on a stopwatch, but because you were in the middle of something more important, your work, your workout, a conversation with a friend. You let it sit for a while, and when you do reply, it is calm and unhurried. It means you are not always available for a last-minute Friday night date. It's not an excuse. You genuinely have other plans, even if those plans are a quiet evening at home, enjoying your own company. You might say, with warmth, that sounds lovely, but I'm already committed tonight. How about sometime next week? This behavior sends a powerful subconscious signal. It tells him that your life is full, that you are not just waiting by the phone for him, and that time with you is a privilege that must be planned for and earned. It makes an invitation to see you feel like an opportunity he must seize, not a default option he can fall back on. By making your attention a scarce resource, you are not playing hard to get. You are demonstrating that you are hard to get because your value is high and your time is rightfully your own. The art of the open loop. Keeping him mentally engaged. Have you ever watched a television series that ends every single episode on a dramatic cliffhanger? The main character is in peril. A shocking secret is about to be revealed, and then the credits roll. It's frustrating, but it's also incredibly effective. You can't stop thinking about it. You theorize about what will happen next. You are mentally hooked. Your brain craves closure, and until it gets it, the story lives rent-free in your mind. This powerful psychological device is called an open loop. It's a storytelling technique that introduces a question or a scenario and then deliberately leaves it unresolved, forcing the audience to stay engaged to find out the conclusion. The same principle that makes you binge watch an entire season in one weekend can be used in your conversations to keep a man mentally and emotionally hooked on you long after you've said goodbye. Most conversations, especially in early dating, are what we call closed loops. You ask a question, he answers. He tells a story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. The interaction is pleasant, but once it's over, it's over. There is no lingering thought, no mental cliffhanger. Using open loops is the art of intentionally planting a seed of curiosity that will blossom in his mind while he's away from you. So how do you create one? It's simpler than you think. It can be done by hinting at a future story. For example, in the middle of a good conversation, you might laugh and say, "That reminds me of the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me in college. Oh my God. I'll have to tell you that story another time." Just like that, you've opened a loop. He is now curious about that story. He will remember to ask you about it later, and it gives him a perfect reason to contact you again. Another way is to end a conversation at a high point just when it's getting really good. We often make the mistake of letting conversations drag on until they die a natural, awkward death. Instead, learn to be the one who ends it first, especially when the energy is at its peak. You can say, "I'm having such a great time talking to you, but I have to run to my ESA class meeting appointment. Can we pick this up again soon?" You leave him wanting more, not less. The unresolved energy of the great conversation becomes the open loop. You can also ask a question that requires some thought. Instead of, "How was your day?" try something more playful and thought-provoking at the end of a conversation, like, "Okay, before I go, quick question. What's a small thing that made you genuinely happy this week?" It leaves him with a positive emotional task that is connected to you. He won't just answer it, he will reflect on it, and in doing so, he is investing more mental energy into your interaction. By mastering the art of the open loop, you ensure that the conversation doesn't end when you part ways. You become the compelling cliffhanger he can't stop thinking about. The signal of high value, your boundaries, that the word boundaries often gets a bad rap. We associate it with conflict, with saying no, with pushing people away. We worry that if we set a boundary with a man we're interested in, he'll think we are difficult, demanding, or not interested. But in the language of male psychology, a boundary is one of the clearest and most attractive signals of high value a woman can send. A boundary is not a wall you build to keep people out. It is a clear line you draw in the sand that communicates your self-respect. Think of it this way: a woman without boundaries is like a country with no borders. Anyone can wander in and out at will, take what they want, and leave when they please. There is no sense of preciousness or protection. A woman with strong, healthy boundaries, however, is like a beautiful private garden with a clear gate. Not just anyone can enter. You must be invited. You must be respectful. The very existence of the gate signals that what is inside is valuable and worth protecting. Men are biologically and psychologically wired to respect strength. While they may consciously enjoy a woman who is endlessly accommodating and eager to please, their subconscious respect and therefore their deep attraction is reserved for a woman who respects herself. A boundary is the ultimate demonstration of self-respect. So what does a healthy boundary look like in dating? It's not about being aggressive or defensive. It is about calm, firm, and loving self-preservation. It's when he tries to make a last-minute plan on a Saturday night and you say with warmth, not attitude, "I would have loved to, but I need a little more notice. I really value my weekends to recharge. Let's plan something for next week." You are not rejecting him. You are teaching him how to treat you while simultaneously signaling that you have a life you prioritize. It's when he makes a joke that is slightly at your expense. Instead of forcing a laugh to be agreeable, you can smile calmly and say, "Ouch, I'm a little more sensitive than that," and then change the subject. You are not starting a fight. You are simply communicating your standards for how you wish to be spoken to. It's when he pushes a physical boundary too soon. You don't have to deliver a lecture. You can gently remove his hand and say with a soft smile, "I'm not quite there yet." Each of these actions sends a powerful, attractive message. I value myself, my comfort, my time, and my feelings are important. I am not willing to compromise my own well-being for your approval. This kind of self-assuredness is incredibly rare. It tells him that your validation comes from within, not from him. And paradoxically, this makes him work harder to earn your validation, respect you more deeply, and desire you on a level that the woman who says yes to everything can never hope to achieve. The fading signal technique, the power of gradual withdrawal. There comes a moment in many budding connections that can be incredibly confusing and anxiety-inducing. You've had a few great dates. The texts have been flowing, the energy is high, and then suddenly there's a subtle shift. His replies become a little slower. His enthusiasm seems to have dipped. He's pulling away. The natural, almost primal female instinct in this moment is to panic and lean in. We think, what did I do wrong? We try to fix it by texting more, by being extra sweet, by suggesting another date to try and reignite the spark. We try to close the growing distance by sprinting towards him. This is the most common and the most fatal mistake you can make. Leaning in when he is pulling away is like pouring water on a drowning man. It overwhelms him, validates his need for space, and accelerates his retreat. The correct, albeit counterintuitive, response is to use a powerful technique called the fading signal. It is the art of matching his energy and then withdrawing just a little bit more. It is about giving him the space he is subconsciously asking for, while simultaneously creating a vacuum that he will often feel compelled to fill. Here's how it works. Let's say he typically texts you every day, and then one day he doesn't. The fading signal means you do not text him. You get busy with your own life. You wait. If he then texts you 2 days later with a casual, "Hey, how's it going?" you do not reply instantly with a flood of enthusiastic messages. You wait a little while and you reply with a calm, warm, but equally casual message. You match his energy level. You do not punish him or act cold. You simply mirror his investment. Now, here is the crucial next step. After you have matched his energy for a brief period, you then subtly fade your own signal just a little bit more. You become slightly busier. Your replies might take a little longer. You are the one who ends the text conversation first to go do something else. You are not doing this with anger or resentment. You are doing it from a place of genuine self-respect and focus on your own life. Your thought process is, okay, he seems to be busy and focusing on his own life. That's great. I'm going to do the same. This does 2 remarkable things. First, it gives him the space to breathe and to process his own feelings without pressure, which he will subconsciously appreciate. Second, and more importantly, it triggers his fear of loss. When he senses that you are not chasing him, that you are not panicking, and that you might actually be losing interest yourself, his entire psychological framework shifts. He is no longer the one in control of the distance. You are. The dynamic has flipped. The power you gave away by needing his validation has been reclaimed. More often than not, the man who was pulling away will suddenly feel a renewed sense of urgency to close the distance he himself created. because he is now faced with the possibility of losing a high-value woman who respects herself too much to chase. The art of emotional resonance, connecting beyond the surface, beyond facts, speaking the language of emotion. How many first dates have you been on that felt less like a romantic connection and more like a job interview? You exchange a series of facts. Where did you grow up? What do you do for work? What are your hobbies? You learn the bullet points of his life, and he learns yours. The conversation is logical, it is polite, and it is often completely forgettable. You walk away knowing about him, but you don't feel like you know him. There was no spark, no real connection. This is because you were communicating on the wrong frequency. We have been taught to connect with men on a logical, factual level, assuming that this is the language they speak. But here is one of the most important secrets of male psychology. While a man may live in the world of logic, he falls in love in the world of emotion. He doesn't fall for the woman with the most impressive resume. He falls for the woman who makes him feel something. He falls for the woman who can bypass the guarded fortress of his logical mind and speak directly to his heart. So how do you do this? You become a gentle guide, leading the conversation from the what to the why and the how it felt. You stop being an interviewer and start being an emotional explorer. Instead of asking, so you're an engineer, is it a lot of work? You can lean in with genuine curiosity and ask, what's the most satisfying feeling you get when you finally solve a really difficult problem? The first question is about a job. The second question is about his passion, his pride, and his sense of accomplishment. When he tells you a story about a trip he took, don't just ask where he went. Ask him, what was the one moment on that trip that made you feel completely alive? When he talks about a challenge he faced, instead of offering advice, you can simply say, that sounds incredibly stressful. How did you manage to get through that? This shift is subtle, but its effect is profound. You are no longer just gathering data. You are inviting him to share his inner world with you. You are showing him that you are not just interested in what he does, but in who he is at his core. A man may not even realize this is happening. He will simply feel that conversations with you are different. They are deeper. He feels more seen, more understood, and more connected to you than to other women. You are not just another person he is talking to. You are becoming an experience, an emotional destination. By learning to speak the language of feeling, you make yourself unforgettable because you are connecting with the part of him that actually makes the decision to fall in love. The mirroring secret, creating subconscious rapport. Have you ever met someone for the first time and felt an instant, almost magical connection? You can't quite put your finger on why, but the conversation just flows. You feel comfortable, you feel understood, and you walk away thinking, we just clicked. While sometimes this is a happy accident of chemistry, it is often the result of a powerful subconscious process called mirroring. And the best part is you can learn to initiate this process intentionally and authentically. Mirroring is the unconscious tendency of human beings to mimic the body language, speech patterns, and energy levels of people they feel a rapport with. When two people are deeply engaged, they will naturally start to adopt similar postures, use similar gestures, and even speak at a similar pace and volume. This process sends a constant stream of non-verbal signals to the brain that say, I am like you, we are on the same team, you are safe with me. It is the brain's secret handshake for building trust. Learning to use mirroring consciously is not about becoming a parrot or a creepily accurate mime. It's an art of subtle attunement. It's about paying attention and gently aligning yourself with his rhythm. Let's start with body language. If he is leaning back in his chair in a relaxed posture, you should also adopt a relaxed, open posture. If he is leaning forward, intensely engaged in a story, you can match that by leaning in slightly as well. If he uses his hands a lot when he talks, you can allow yourself to use a few more natural hand gestures than you normally would. The key is to be subtle. You are matching the vibe, not the exact pose. Next is vocal tone. Listen to the way he speaks. Is he a fast talker with high energy, or is he slow, calm, and deliberate? Try to adjust your own natural pace to be a little closer to his. If he speaks softly, bringing your own volume down just a notch will make him feel more comfortable than if you were projecting loudly. Again, this is not about impersonation. It's about finding a shared rhythm that makes the conversation feel effortless. Finally, there is energy. Is he in a playful, joking mood, or is he in a more serious, contemplative space? By attuning to his energy and matching it, you create a feeling of harmony. You show him that you are capable of meeting him where he is. When you practice this subtle art of mirroring, something amazing happens. You bypass his conscious critical mind. You are not trying to convince him with your words that you are a good match. You are showing his subconscious in a language it instinctively understands that you already are. He won't know why, but he will leave the interaction feeling a deep, unexplainable sense of comfort and connection with you. He'll just know that with you. It feels different. It feels right. The power of shared vulnerability and how to do it safely in our quest to appear perfect and impressive, especially in the early stages of dating. We often build impenetrable walls around ourselves. We only show the shiny, polished, successful parts of our lives. We hide our scars, our past struggles, and our moments of doubt, fearing that if he sees any cracks in our armor, he will run. But the ironic truth is that these walls, designed to protect us, are the very things that prevent true intimacy from ever taking root. It is not our perfection that connects us to others. It is our shared humanity, our shared imperfection. Vulnerability is the gateway to that connection. It is the act of bravely letting someone see a small piece of your true, unpolished self. However, vulnerability is also a powerful tool that must be handled with care. Shared too much, too soon, it can overwhelm a man and signal emotional instability. This is what we call trauma dumping. But shared in small, safe, and strategic doses, it can create a bond of trust and intimacy faster than almost anything else. The secret is what I call the overcome obstacle story. This is not about sharing a raw, open wound you are still suffering from. It is about sharing a story from your past about a challenge you faced and, crucially, what you learned from it or how you grew. For example, instead of saying, I have terrible anxiety and I'm always scared of what people think of me, which feels heavy and unresolved, you could share something like this. I used to be painfully shy in high school. I was so terrified of speaking in public that I once faked being sick to get out of a presentation. But I knew I couldn't live like that, so in college, I forced myself to join the debate club. It was one of the scariest but most rewarding things I've ever done. It taught me that I'm a lot stronger than my fear. Do you see the difference? The second story has all the elements of safe vulnerability. It reveals a past imperfection as shyness, it shows self-awareness, it demonstrates strength and a proactive mindset at joining the club, and it ends with an empowered conclusion. It doesn't ask for his pity, it invites his respect. When you share a story like this, you are giving him a profound gift. You are telling him, I trust you enough to show you a piece of my real story. This implicitly gives him permission to be real with you in return. It creates a safe space where he doesn't have to be the perfect, strong man all the time. By demonstrating the strength it takes to be vulnerable, you don't just tell him you're a confident woman, you prove it. You show him that you are not afraid of the messy, complicated parts of life, which makes you seem like an incredibly safe and appealing partner for the long journey ahead, becoming his sanctuary. The role of feminine energy in today's world. Women are quite rightly encouraged to be strong, independent, and assertive. We are leaders, innovators, and problem solvers. We spend our days in our masculine energy, the energy of doing, of striving, of protecting, and of leading. This energy is essential for building a career, running a household, and navigating a competitive world. The problem is many of us forget to take off the armor when we enter the world of our romantic relationships. Masculine and feminine are not about gender, they are about energy. Everyone has both. Masculine energy is about direction, purpose, and challenge. Feminine energy is about flow, receptivity, and nurturing. Think of masculine energy as the strong riverbanks that provide direction and structure, and feminine energy as the flowing, powerful water within them. For a river to flow, it needs both. For deep, passionate attraction to ignite, it also needs both. This is the principle of energetic polarity. Opposites attract. A man who typically operates from his masculine core is not looking for a partner who competes with him in that same energy. He gets that all day at work. He deals with challenge, with competition, with the pressure to perform. What his soul craves, what he deeply yearns for, is a place to rest. He is looking for a sanctuary, a soft, warm, receptive space where he can drop his own armor, put down his sword, and just be. Becoming his sanctuary is the ultimate expression of your feminine energy. It is not about being passive or submissive. It is an active, powerful state of being. It is the energy of receiving. It means that when you are with him, you are not trying to solve his problems or give him advice unless he asks for it. Instead, you are listening to understand. You are creating a judgment-free zone where he can express his fears or his failures without being seen as weak. It's in the way you look at him, not with a critical eye, but with soft, accepting eyes. It's in your touch, a gentle hand on his arm that says, I'm here. It's in your presence a calm, peaceful energy that soothes his nervous system. When he is with you, the noise of the world fades away. He can finally take a deep breath. This feeling is one of the most addictive and deeply satisfying emotions a man can experience. When you provide this energetic sanctuary, you become an essential part of his life. You are not just the woman he has fun with, you are the woman he comes to for peace. You are his respite from the storm. By consciously stepping out of your masculine, doing energy and into your feminine, being energy when you are with him, you create the energetic polarity that fuels deep attraction and makes him feel that being with you is like finally coming home. The language of subtle influence, communicating without words, the gazy, how to use eye contact to create a deep connection. Of all the ways we communicate, eye contact is perhaps the most primal and the most powerful. It is a direct line to the soul. The right kind of gaze can convey more trust, more intimacy, and more raw attraction in 3 seconds than a 30-minute conversation ever could. Yet for most of us, eye contact is an unconscious, often awkward dance. We look away quickly, we stare a little too long. We miss the opportunity to use this incredible tool to create a deep, unspoken connection. What we are going to learn today is not just how to make eye contact, but how to master what is known as the intimacy gaze. This is a specific technique that neurologically triggers the release of oxytocin and phenylethylamine in his brain, the very hormones responsible for bonding and falling in love. It is subtle, it is elegant, and it is profoundly effective. The technique itself is simple. It involves holding his gaze for just a fraction of a second longer than is socially comfortable. In a normal, platonic conversation, we hold eye contact for about 2 to 3 seconds before looking away. The intimacy gaze pushes that to 4 or 5 seconds. It's a tiny change, but in that extra moment, something magical happens. The interaction shifts from casual to intentional. You are no longer just looking at him. You are seeing him. Here is how to practice it. The next time you are speaking with him, find a moment when he is talking about something he is passionate about. As you listen, allow your eyes to be soft and receptive. Don't stare with an intense, hard focus that can feel confrontational. Instead, let your gaze be gentle and warm. As he finishes his point, instead of immediately looking away as you normally would, hold his gaze for that extra 1, 2 counts. And then here is the most important part. As you finally break the gaze, do not look down, which can signal submissiveness. Instead, look slowly to the side, and as you do, let a very small, almost secret smile play on your lips. This sequence of action sends a cascade of powerful subconscious messages. Holding the gaze for that extra moment signals confidence and interest. The softness in your eyes communicates warmth and safety. And the slow look away with a slight smile is the master stroke. It creates a sense of a shared private moment. It feels intimate, a little bit playful, and leaves him with a jolt of positive emotional energy. It's as if you've shared a secret with him that only the two of you know. Practicing this may feel a little nerve-wracking at first, but it is one of the most potent tools in your arsenal. It cuts through superficial small talk and creates a bubble of pure connection. You are non-verbally telling him, I am here with you. I see you. And I am captivated. In a world of constant distraction, offering someone that level of pure, undivided attention through your gaze is a rare and intoxicating gift. The psychology of touch, breaking the barrier casually from the moment we are born, touch is our primary language for communicating safety, comfort, and affection. A simple touch can calm our nervous system, build trust, and create a powerful sense of connection. In the context of dating and attraction, the strategic and respectful use of touch can be the single most effective way to move a connection from the friend zone into the realm of romance. It is the silent language that says, I am comfortable with you and I am interested in being closer to you. The fear, of course, is being too forward or making him feel uncomfortable. This is why we must master the art of incidental or platonic touch. This is a form of light, casual physical contact that is not overtly romantic or sexual, but which serves the crucial purpose of breaking the touch barrier. This is the invisible wall that exists between two people who have not yet made physical contact. Once this barrier is gently and safely broken, the path to more intimate touch, like holding hands or a kiss, becomes infinitely smoother. The key to mastering this is context and brevity. The touch should be short, light, and always have a plausible reason for occurring. One of the easiest and most effective techniques is the Hussey touch. When you are in conversation and you are laughing at one of his jokes or making an important point, you can gently and briefly touch his forearm or shoulder. The touch should last no more than a second or two. It's not a lingering caress. It's a punctuation mark to your words. For example, as you're laughing, you might say, "That is the funniest thing I've heard all week," while lightly touching his arm. The touch emphasizes your emotion and creates a moment of shared experience. Another powerful technique is the guidance touch. If you are walking through a crowded room or a doorway, you can place your hand very briefly on the small of his back to guide him through. This is a slightly more intimate gesture, but in context, it is completely natural and is often perceived as a caring, connecting action. Finally, there is the accidental touch. When sitting next to each other, you might allow your knees or shoulders to touch for a brief moment, as if by accident. You don't have to pull away immediately. Just allow the contact to exist for a moment before naturally shifting. This helps to build a sense of physical comfort and familiarity between you. Each of these small gestures serves to dissolve the invisible wall between you. They begin to rewire his brain to associate you with the positive, comforting feelings that come from physical contact. It's a gradual process of building trust and rapport on a physical level. You are not making a big, risky move. You are simply speaking a language that his subconscious has understood since birth, the language of warm, safe, and connecting touch. The power of your silence, letting him fill the space in our fast-paced, constantly connected world. We have become terrified of silence. We see it as a void, an awkward pause in the conversation that must be filled immediately. When a moment of quiet falls between us and a man we are interested in, our anxiety spikes. We rush to ask another question, to tell another story, to do anything to avoid the perceived discomfort of that empty space. But in doing so, we are missing one of the most powerful opportunities to build depth, attraction, and connection. Silence is not an absence of communication. It is a different and often more profound form of it. When used correctly, comfortable silence demonstrates immense confidence. It signals that you are not nervous, that you are not desperate for his approval, and that you are present enough to simply be in the moment with him without needing to fill it with noise. This kind of self-assuredness is incredibly attractive. Furthermore, silence is an invitation. When you are constantly talking, you are pushing energy towards him. When you are silent, you create a gentle vacuum, a space that invites him to lean in and fill it. It gives him the room to think more deeply about what he wants to say, to move beyond superficial answers and share something more meaningful. Here is how to practice the power of silence. The next time you ask him a meaningful question, not a simple factual one, but a question about his feelings or opinions, I want you to try something radical. After you ask it, I want you to simply stop talking. Don't elaborate. Don't rephrase the question. Don't get nervous if he doesn't answer immediately. Just hold his gaze with a warm, patient, and expectant look on your face. In that moment, you are non-verbally communicating. I believe what you have to say is important, and I am willing to wait for it. You are giving him the gift of your patient attention. He may be taken aback at first, as most people will rush to fill the silence, but it will force him to go beyond his automatic pre-programmed answers. It will encourage him to be more thoughtful, more introspective, and more vulnerable. And the answer he gives you after a moment of thoughtful silence will almost always be more genuine and revealing than the one he would have given you instantly. By becoming a woman who is comfortable with silence, you set yourself apart. You create a space of calm and depth in your interactions. You make him feel less like he is being interviewed and more like he is being deeply heard. You are showing him that you are not afraid of the quiet, intimate spaces that exist between words. And it is in those very spaces that true connection is often found. The implanted compliment praising his character, not his possessions. Men, just like women, appreciate being complimented, but not all compliments are created equal. Most of the compliments men receive are for things that are external to them. Nice car, cool watch, I like your shirt. While these are pleasant to hear, they are superficial. They are compliments about his possessions or his taste. They don't land on a deep personal level. They are like a light snack, enjoyable for a moment, but quickly forgotten. The kind of compliment that makes a man feel truly seen, that makes him think about you for days, is what I call the implanted compliment. This is a compliment that bypasses the surface and speaks directly to his character, his effort, or his inner qualities. It is a compliment about who he is, not what he has. It makes him feel admired for the man he has built himself to be. The formula for an implanted compliment is to observe an external thing, but to compliment the internal quality that it represents. For example, instead of saying, "Whoa, you have a really nice apartment," you would pause, look around, and then say, "You can really tell you take pride in creating a space that is calming and well put together." It says a lot about your attention to detail. See the difference? The first is about his apartment. The second is about him, his pride, his calmness, his attention to detail. Instead of the generic, "You're so smart," you could wait until he explains a complex topic to you and then say, "I am so impressed with the way you can take a complicated idea and make it so easy to understand. That's a real gift." You are no longer just calling him smart. You are praising his specific skill as a communicator and a teacher. If he tells you a story about how he dealt with a difficult situation at work, instead of saying, "Good job," you can say, "It takes a lot of integrity and patience to handle a situation like that with so much grace. That's really admirable." You are complimenting his character traits, his integrity, his patience, his grace. These compliments land so powerfully because they are rare. Most people only notice the surface. When you demonstrate that you see the character traits beneath the surface, you are telling him, "I don't just see what you show the world, I see who you really are." This makes him feel deeply understood and validated in a way that is incredibly addictive. You are no longer just another woman he is dating. You are the one who truly gets him. And that is a compliment that he will never, ever forget.